Hey everybody, Congressman Brian Mast here. I hope you're all doing well. I am back with another update on what's happened from Washington, D.C. We do have a lot to cover this week, so let's dive in. First of all, I just want to say I lost a friend this week. Charlie Kirk was a friend of mine. I've known him for many years. America lost a patriot. I lost a friend. We really lost a great warrior, a great fighter for this country, and somebody that was just committed and devoted to dialogue and moving the questions forward and really pushing people to what I think is most important out of the policy and the politics that we all pay attention to in this, which is the why. Maybe we don't agree on everything, but what's your why for this? This is what I believe, but it's not just what I believe. This is why I believe it. And I just thought he was incredible at always pushing for the why out of the individuals. Very much going to miss my friend. Want to get into the policy and things like that we worked on this week. One of the big things that we worked on, as we do always, water quality impacts. Every single one of us in Florida are affected by this. We're surrounded by water, rivers, estuaries, streams, lakes, our coastlines. Right now, standards for water flowing south towards the Florida Everglades, they're very, very different from the standards for water flowing east to the St. Lucie in our backyard, west to the Caloosahatchee in areas like Naples and Fort Myers, and it simply doesn't make any sense. This week, during a Transportation and Infrastructure Subcommittee hearing, I had the chance to speak directly with the new Assistant Secretary Tell and the new Lieutenant General Graham Jr. of the Army Corps of Engineers. They're the new team that are in charge of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers at the highest level. And I encouraged them to review last year's Water Resources Development Act. And at this very moment, toxic algae is blooming in Lake Okeechobee. And I pressed them on what more can be done to protect both our communities and the Army Corps personnel who are exposed to these harmful toxins at places like Port Mayaca, where they're working on the lock and dams for 8, 9, 10 hours a day, standing on top of those dams, that dam, and just breathing in those noxious fumes. What can be done to protect them? What can be done to protect us as citizens that could be exposed to that? Floridians shouldn't be forced to live under two sets of water standards. There needs to be one uniform standard for clean water across the entire state. And I'm going to keep working with the Army Corps and pushing for accountability until we get to that point. Also this week, I had the opportunity to meet with the Department of War's Undersecretary for Personnel and Readiness and a Florida 21st Congressional District constituent, Anthony Tata. So he is in our communities, from our community, and now he's at the Pentagon. We had the opportunity to discuss the state of our military's readiness. Our conversation covered everything from recruitment and retention to training and education to the quality of life for service members and their families, what goes on when service members leave the military and they're serviced by the Department of Veterans Affairs. We talked about ensuring that service members stationed in Florida and across the country have access to healthcare, housing, childcare, resources that they need. We also discussed the importance of continued investments in training and modernization so that our men and women in uniform are prepared for the conflicts of tomorrow. Now, Florida's military installations, our defense industry, our veterans community, they are all directly impacted by these decisions, and I'm going to continue to work closely with the Department of War to make sure that the needs of our service members, my brothers and sisters in arms, still have a lot of friends in uniform, that they and their families, that they are prioritized. Finally, on the House floor this week, we passed the Transport Jobs Act, and it's a bill that delivers for veterans. It delivers for American veterans while strengthening the backbone of our economy. The full name of the bill is Transitioning, Retiring, and New Service Members to Port, Ocean, Rail, Truck, and Jobs Act. This bill works for two key reasons. It connects veterans with careers in trucking and rail and shipping and logistics, industries that are essential to keeping America's supply chain moving. And in addition, it helps expand and secure that very supply chain that those individuals are going to go to work in. We also passed the National Defense Authorization Act of 2026, which I'm proud to say includes 4 of my amendments, one of which is the SEAL Excellence Achievement Loyalty Act, or the SEAL Act as we call it. This amendment, it designates the Navy SEAL Memorial in Fort Pierce, Florida as the National Memorial for honoring grounds and legacy of Navy Special Warfare sacrifice of some of our nation's most elite warriors, the greatest warriors our nation has ever had. We've been working for a long time to ensure this great tribute to Navy SEALs and that they get the recognition, and this location gets the recognition that it deserves. And I'm excited to say that we are one step closer to making that a reality. Now we'll be working on seeing it passed by the Senate, signed into law by President Trump. Before signing off, I'd just like to take a moment and reflect on this week and the fact that we are remembering September 11 and how such a tragic time it brought us together as a nation. That's what we as Americans do. We do come together in the face of the most dire situations. And we always show the world how it is that we can do things better than anybody else, how we come together better than anybody else. No matter the political opinion or the ideology, this is the time now more than ever that we need to get together and advance forward as a nation. That's what we do when we're under stress, when we're under fire. And I hope that we can once again find a time where we are united like we were on September 12, just as Americans committed to making America the greatest country that it could ever be, the strongest country that could ever be, the most defended country that it could ever be, making our service members the best and have the greatest capabilities that they could ever have. That's what we were committed to on September 12th, making sure that we were ready, willing, able as Americans to answer the call that we had thrown in front of us. That's what we need to do every single day, is remember September 11, the threats that we faced, the threats that came against us, and remember who we were on September 12 and the way that we came together. On that note, as always, it is an honor to serve you. I look forward to seeing you all around home, and you all take care. Hey everyone, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, please click like and subscribe. I will be back on YouTube with more exclusive content, so stay tuned.